The Business Council of Australia is calling on Labor to implement urgent reform to boost productivity or risk seeing a weaker economy. A new report has identified the need to lift productivity growth to above 2% if Australia wants to maintain living standards. Well, for more on this, joining me is Chief Investment Officer at the Motley, Scott Phillips. Good to see you again, Scott. So do you agree with the BCA's outlook?
Kenny, good morning. Absolutely. Now, there's obviously a political angle to this one. I'll leave that one to the side. But productivity is incredibly important if we want to improve our living standards. The BCA is 100% right. The only thing over the long term that improves our living standards is productivity and population. That is literally it. Everything else is just inflation or it's nominal gains, the real underlying gains. And think about technology. From the Industrial Revolution to today, everything we've been able to do in terms of living better, wealthier, more prosperous lives comes at the heart, or productivity is at the heart of that. Now, it's been a very long time, mate. I've been around a little while. I reckon the Hawke, Keating and Howard governments were the last time we heard anyone seriously talk about productivity with any serious policy interest. The word gets thrown around a little bit, but I don't remember the last time any side of politics, anyone from politics, had a genuine conversation about how to improve productivity. You know what's not sexy? It doesn't get the headlines. The focus groups don't love it. Those things are all fine. But fundamentally at the heart of our economic growth, and as you say, the improvements in our quality of life must be productivity. So if the BCA gets the ear of the politicians, if we get some improvements as a result, that'll be incredibly welcome. Productivity comes in really tiny increments, right? It's not sexy. There's no big announcements. It's removing those obstacles, the impediments to business and to life. It's literally things like infrastructure, tax rules, administration. Yes, red tape. Some government regulation is required, others is not. Taking away whatever we can to let people get on with doing things as efficiently as possible, and kind of helping, oil the gears of industry. That is one of the roles of government. We have done nowhere near enough of it over the last 15, 20 years. It's time to bring it back. The BCA is on the right track.
We'll see if it gets traction. Scott, the NAB has been sued over hardship silence. ASIC alleges the bank failed to support customers experiencing domestic violence and those battling serious medical conditions. Does this set a precedent for other banks to be sued?
I kind of hope so on one level, Kenny. I've got to say, I mean, the Royal Commission was, 7 years ago now, and we're still waiting for the bad news stories to stop, right? They were supposed to have turned over a new leaf, changed their culture, started doing things differently, and yet we regularly have another bank in the headlines being sued by ASIC for something or other. This time around, 345 customers over 5 years weren't responded to in the appropriate time frame. There's 21 days a bank is supposed to respond to and deal with claims for financial hardship. In those cases, ASIC alleges NAB did not do the right thing. Now, look, on one hand, 345 out of millions of NAB customers, probably not a huge proportion. On the other hand, as you kind of rightly point out, mate, this is really, really important points in people's lives. Domestic violence, financial hardship more broadly, chance of losing a home or job. Those are the times you actually need some quick and responsive action from your financial institution. Will it happen more? Probably. I'd love to say no. I'd love to say they've learned, they've improved their systems, they've improved their compliance, they're taking these things seriously. I'd love to be proven wrong, mate, but as I said, we're now 7 years out from the Royal Commission. They've had ample time to change what they do and how they do it. The fact that NAB is now being dragged over the coals yet again by the regulator suggests the banks aren't doing enough or not doing it properly. I dare say this is not the last time we'll talk about it.
Hey, Scott, I've got to run, but thanks so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it, mate.